Back to another what if. What if Deku was the Avatar? Part 1. Brackets, this is disclaimer. This video is going to be over 18. I won't age restrict it because there's no swearing in anything like that. But in our case, Deku is going to be in a killing spree. He's going to be a supervillain. This is so much different from our normal avatar, because avatars are mostly good people, calm and collective, and they want to balance the whole world, save the water nation, the fire nation, earth nation. You understand me, right? But this time, this avatar does not care. Like, his life has been a downfall up until he was a baby to when he's a teenager. He's going to go through dramatic things for his whole life, and then at this point he says, I have enough. He has enough of his life. So you know what he does? For enjoyment, he starts killing people with disregardness and all that. So let's begin our what if. So we begin many years in the past, and this is centuries and centuries and centuries ago, where the Avatar was a good guy and even a girl. We fall from Korra's death, where the Avatar cycle stopped, and now it started a fresh start from nowhere. The cycle has restarted. The newborn, the new Avatar, he grows up to be a cunning warrior, protecting the world. The second one protects the world. The third one protects the world. The fourth, the fifth, the sixth, seventh, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and around 100,000 of them protect the world until one Avatar changed. His name was Avatar Hotoroshi, and he despised all the avatars. They made him a goody two-shoes. They made him basically a slave, because at this point there was a war going on, World War II, and he was scared, and they didn't know what happened in his past about his family dying in front of his own eyes. And he's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. So he just turns rogue and turns bad. And yeah, now we follow from the new Avatar, Avatar Izuku Midoriya. He's only just a 10-year-old boy. His life is a mess. He lives with an abusive father and a drunk, psychotic mother who barely comes home. Sometimes when his dad wasn't around, his mom always hooks other men to her room, and Deku would have a crazy night with noise whilst he's watching TV. And whilst his dad's somewhere, his dad's being a gangster, killing other people, trying to get paid, but he wastes the money on drugs and alcohol. In the meantime, Deku gets whipped by his father. So Deku goes to sleep one day, and he's just thinking of if he could get a quirk and be a hero just like Endeavor, his #1 hero, and maybe be in the family of the Todorokis. He's dreaming about having their power, having their quirk, fire and ice. And then when he wakes up, a fire alarm happens. Nino, 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 Nino. Deku's like, why is the fire? Mom, Dad. He opens the door. His whole house is burnt. His whole house is full of fire. He's hearing sirens from far away. He goes to his parents' bedroom and he just sees ash. He sees burnt up bodies, 2 bodies, the same replica of his parents. Meaning Deku's parents are dead. Deku touches his dad. His dad peels into ash and flies with the air particles. Deku runs downstairs and leaves the whole building, and he's like, what was that? And he starts choking off blood and starts vomiting. The fire brigade comes and they start squirting the house with water. They give Deku a blanket and water just to cool him down after the hot temperature happened. And one of the police officers and detectives, they go up to Deku and they said, sorry kid, we found your parents' body on the 2nd floor in a large room. Can you tell us what started the fire? Deku's like, I don't know, but the only thing I remember is going to sleep and thinking of being like Endeavor, having his powers, and then I wake up and I see my whole house burn and my parents dead. And the detective is like, sorry kid, and he removes his hat and he puts it into his chest and he's like, I'm sorry for your loss. Do you have any family members that could support you during this battle you're having? And Deku's like, no, probably my family is in America just relaxing, chilling, and they just don't care about my grandma. She died a few months ago and she was mean to me, so I'm happy about that, but the rest, I got nobody with me. And the police officer's like, I guess he has to go to social services, doesn't he? Then we follow for a few months. Deku's at social service and he's an orphan, and within that social service he meets friends. Tenya Ida, somebody with his parents got killed, and Ochako Araka, and this kid called Kirishima. They become friends like Saka, Zuko, and Katara, and basically Toph. They just become best of friends, having wild adventures in the basically, what's it called again? I just forgot the name. Social service. And then is this one time where Deku slips on some water and some other kids laughing at him. His name is Katsuki Bakugo. Yes, we're changing the whole story. Deku breaks his leg and Katsuki is just laughing at Deku. And Deku, in his head, is thinking, I wish this happened to you. I wish this happened to you. Deku, just by moving his mind, he makes the water travel below Bakugo's feet. And he uses the airbending that he doesn't even know to trip Bakugo. Bakugo slips, snaps his neck on some doorstop, and blood comes out of his mouth. And Deku's like, what the what just happened? Bakugo, wake up, Bakugo. Sorry, wake up, Bakugo. Come on, buddy, wake up. Bakugo's not waking up. Kirishima goes to the kitchen just to see what Deku's doing. As he heard a loud thud, he sees Katsuki's dead body. Deku has disappeared. Deku is now in his room, packing his bags, knowing that as soon as he goes down there, Kirishima will tell the police, and Deku would probably go jail for life. So Deku leaves by escaping through the window, as his bedroom is on the bottom floor, and he runs away into a forest. And then police start chasing Deku from nowhere. Deku's like, what the? Deku starts running through tree to tree. Then Deku tries and gets momentum to climb above a tree, which the police can't shoot him as he's only just around 12 years old. Deku is now climbing, using all his strength, until he slips and he falls. He thinks he's about to fall to his death as he's going head first. He starts floating and he lands on his feet. The police are like, what the? You're using your quirk. That's another life in prison. And Deku's like, Deku says, just leave me alone. Moves his hand, pushes all the police officers back. All the police officers get stabbed with all these twigs and all these spikes from the trees. And they kind of die like what Wolverine died in Logan, the movie. Deku starts running away as he's hearing blood just gets splattered behind him. Deku's running, closing his eyes, and he's feeling a moment in his life where he felt happy, and he's just running in the beach with water just around him. And then he hears a river nearby him, and Deku jumps into the river, and he's like, if I go deep, they won't see me. And the police officers are like, where did the kid go? And one's like, he went into the river, and that's one of them who got stabbed. And it's around nighttime, and the police officers can't see Deku as Deku's underwater swimming. And they're like, gosh, calling all units and get a chopper. We need to see this kid. This kid killed another kid. It's a massacre. And just calling more choppers. Deku starts swimming until he can't breathe, so he goes and gasps for air until the police officers start shooting at Deku as they found him. Deku climbs out of the river and starts running on the staircase up. He pushes a group of teenagers who are walking together, about to spray paint some stuff, and he pushes them into the river, and they both snap their necks and die. Deku starts running and running and running. Deku trips and he's like, what am I gonna do? I broke my leg. Deku can't get up, as if he makes one forceful move, his leg will just snap and just malfunction like a robot. The police officers say, we got you. You're under arrest. You got nothing to speak until we go to court or to the office. They put handcuffs on Deku until Deku uses earth bending, kicks the floor. Freaking rock pile just hit the police officer, freaking ripping the head out of the body. And Deku does a backflip. With all his might and strength, he uses the earth bending to break the handcuffs, and Deku starts running until he uses a bit of the water to heal his leg, and he's like, how did my leg heal so quick? And Deku starts running until he finds somewhere to hide. Deku is now lost in Tokyo. Several police officers are searching for him. Even civilians, they are making this thing called a wanted list. You get around 10,000 if you find this kid. And Deku's just running through the streets. People are like, hey, is that the kid from the news? And Deku's like, shut up, it's not me. And then from nowhere, Deku raises to the sky, and police officers are shooting at Deku until there's a dome. Yes, police are shooting a 12-year-old. It has happened some cases where a 12-year-old gets shot because they've done something major bad. He's killed more than 5 people. He's killed around 15 so far. And Deku's in the air with this basically shield blocking all the bullets with his airbending. And then from nowhere, Deku clenches his hand. He breaks all the bones in every human in that area where he is body. They all collapse dead. And then some people in America who are basically agents for some FBI or something like that count all the population and people have died. The population drops from 2 million down. Like a nuclear bomb just erupted and blew an entire freaking city. And the agent is like, sir, 2 million people just died. And the boss is like, what the? Send all units to Japan if they need help. Maybe somebody dropped a nuclear bomb, but they're wrong. It's Deku, and Deku had enough of his pain seeing his parents die, and he's having the anger like he wanted to beat the shit out of his dad when he was younger and worthless. Now Deku's got these powers that he doesn't know how to control. What would you do at this moment? Government are looking for you. If I was him, I would have done the same thing. Because you got powers. Remarkable powers. And government may do experiments on you. And Deku doesn't want to be a lab rat. So, he's going to fight for his life. And people are going to make him look like a villain. When he's not. He's just a normal kid who needs help. But nobody would understand the feeling. If only you're just an avatar. And then Deku gets out of the area, and then you see choppers block the whole surrounding of the city. And that city was Tokyo, so Tokyo is basically shut down. Some people survived in Tokyo, but they're in lockdown just to hide from the nuke, which they are saying is a nuke, but it's actually not. And Deku's like, how am I gonna get out of Tokyo if they made barriers already? Then he sees SWAT team from America zipline from helicopters onto buildings, and they all aim their target at Deku. And Deku's got red lasers at his head and heart, and he's like, what is this? Wait a minute. Deku recaps playing Call of Duty, remembering what snipers sometimes have, a laser beam, targets where to shoot. And then Deku's like, I've had enough. He raises his hands in the air, does basically a Superman pose. His eyes turn red. Kind of like Avatar Aang in this moment. Deku, with all his energy, raises water, earth, air, fire. And you may say, but doesn't Deku have to learn water first, then the other elements? And I'm like, excuse me? This is my story. And Deku, he's built different. And with all his rage, he crawls up into this mini ball and releases all his energy, blasting the biggest explosion you will ever see in your life. Like a asteroid just hit the earth, like boom, and smoke particles even reached the surface of space. That's how big it was. The fire is basically disintegrating any dead body. The SWAT members, the helicopters, the choppers, you name it, the planes that were traveling to different places, even the orphanage, but there are people still surviving, but they are injured for life permanently. Deku, with losing energy, falls to the ground and faints. It's been a couple of days. Tokyo is not allowed to be open to the rest of the world. There are burning buildings in Tokyo. Buildings that don't even look like buildings anymore. People, they're gone. They've disintegrated into ash and dust. And we are trying to find who really did it. And Deku doing the explosion thing, it wiped out all the cameras surrounding him. So meaning nobody really knows who did it. And Deku sleep he's in a coma. He's on the floor with dead bodies nearby him. He wakes up and he starts moving his eyes around and he sees the destruction that he made. And he's like, what did I... No, I was only self-defending myself. No, I don't know what's going on with me. Am I a monster? And then he's hearing his father's his words. You are a monster. You are a disgrace to my family. And then he gets his belt and starts whipping Deku. And Deku's like, no, I'm not a monster. I'm more than a monster or even a hero. I'm Izuku Midoriya. I do whatever I want. Then, in reality, Deku would get beat if he said that to his dad. But this time in his head, Deku stops the belt from hitting him. And he uses the power that he just did a few days ago and does it on his dad. Meaning Deku has been rebooted into this new body. His avatar body. That's where we're gonna leave it off for our What If. So hope you guys like and subscribe and enjoy my What If. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. And Benders, welcome to the spirit world. And goodbye.